Hello everyone. So, in this final setup for this project, we will try to analyze a little bit some basic elements, okay? And after that, we'll try to answer some questions. Okay, some of these questions will be around some very simple values which you are seeing in front of you. And now that we have fixed the error, we can actually change this. We can delete this column because we don't really need it, and we can also delete this column if you want. Okay, just to keep things simple. Um, okay, so this was the initial data set that I had given you, and now we try to analyze a couple of things. For example, one of the questions that you have, which first of all, if you have not yet tried these on your own, then as I said, I want you first to try it, and after that, what's the thing? Okay, so one of the questions you had was, what was the total amount that was deposited in the first quarter? Okay, now in the next video you'll find some very in the next assignment you'll find some really interesting concepts around pivot tables which make these calculations done in a matter of seconds. But we want to understand the slow method first and then truly appreciate the fast method, okay, so that you understand the basics also. So to understand what, firstly, if you know I'll just repeat the question once again. You want to understand the total deposits that was made in the first quarter. Okay, what does the first quarter mean? That means the month of January, February, and March, right, in 2022. So for this, we can click over here and then we can filter by a condition that the date is before, and then you can select the exact date, that is 2022, followed by the month, that is 0401. So whatever the date is before 1st April, right, you want to apply those. That means the first quarter, January, February, and March. Okay, I click on OK, and now all the other ones. So now we have just 250 rows. Okay, that is one fourth of the data. All the other ones that were coming after 31st of March, those have been filtered out when you clicked on OK. But this is not still the data because we have these multiple categories. So we also want to filter a new filter over here, which will clear all and it will only select deposit because we want the total deposit. Okay, so click on OK. Now we want a sum of all these. So you can use some formulas also over here, or you can just select all these and it will give you the overall sum over here. That is 11,842.63, which is the answer that you are looking for once the data has been fixed. Okay. Now, so this was the first thing that you needed to know. All right. After that, we also want to know that what is the highest withdrawal that anyone has made in this particular bank account. This is relatively easier. So similarly, like we made filters now, we can again make a filter of only withdrawals. So I'll clear this and only select withdrawals. And again, we select all these different amounts that are there, okay? Because, and why now we have removed the secondary filter also of the date, because now we are not looking at first quarter or second quarter. We want the overall highest withdrawal that was made, okay? So again, you can use min max formula, which we'll learn a bit better later on. But you can just select over here, and here you can see minimum withdrawal is 8 rupees 53 paise, maximum is 499.05. You can also do this by selecting sorry, max, and then selecting this entire data set. You understand this a bit more when you use formulas now. But tell me, why is this wrong? Why did I get 2003 over here and not 499 as per our selection? Well, because when I'm looking at this formula, it is selecting all the different cells from D11 to D998, this entire selection. So it will not work in this case because we just have some of these selections, right? We are only taking into consideration withdrawals and not everything. If you took into consideration everything, then you would have found out that this is actually correct. When you select this entire set, then the maximum indeed is 2003.54, which you've received over here. But when you filter out only withdrawals, Unfortunately, when you use this formula, it is not able to segregate withdrawals only using this. You have to use secondary conditions over here as well, which makes it a bit complex. Again, if you use pivot tables, it will be very simple, which I'll explain in the next assignment. But as of now, you can simply clear this, click on withdrawals, select OK, and this will give you the maximum that and the minimum that you need, right? It also gives you the count, that is there are 206 total transactions, the withdrawal transactions that have been made, and so on and so forth. All right. There are a couple of more calculations that are there in the questions. For example, what is the highest balance that was there during the month of June? So firstly, you need to know what is the month of June. It is the sixth month: January, February, March, April, May, June. So rather than making any filters, all we need to do over here, we can start a selection from here and select things all the way down till here. This is the entire selection of June, right? I hope you can see it over here, 30th June and sorry, 1st June. I just reselected for you. And we wanted to know the maximum balance, right? Again, I'll check max over here. The max balance in this month was 3,971. Okay, and finally we also need what is the average, interest rate that was accrued over the entire course. Okay, so if you want the average interest transactions that happened, what you need to do is again filter out all the others and just keep interest over here. You want to know the average interest that was added to your bank accounts. Again, you select all of these. Luckily, over here also you have average. So I'm just trying to show you the power of this particular thing for some quick calculations. Again, for the third time, I'll say pivot tables makes this even more easier. But what did we learn in today's video? We learned how to use filters, how to check these particular quick values, and to do some smart analysis around data and other secondary points. One last thing that you've been asked to do as like a bonus thing is how to plot data, right? So over here, we want to plot something very simple. We just want to plot the progression of your balance across the entire year, okay? So we select from 1st January, we want the progression, let's say, till 31st December, okay? So we do unselect the last one because the last one is in 2023. Okay, so now the entire thing has been selected. If you do not know how to select it, well, you should be knowing this. You can press shift and you can keep on going down and it will select everything. If you press shift, control and down arrow, then it will just select the entire thing till the end. Okay. After that, all you need to do is insert and click on chart. Google Sheets, is it smart enough to understand? Yes, it is smart enough to understand what kind of chart we wanted. Remember when we learned some basic charts, it was showing different types of charts. Here it understood we want pivot table, right? And this clearly shows that this progression has been quite interesting. It has been near about zero at times and then it has bounced back very nicely. And if you see your balance sheet also, it has never gone to too much negative, but it has mostly stayed positive and has been continuously rising. This gives you good understanding of how your entire bank statement looks like, right? If you want a more detailed data points over here, of course you can customize some of these different elements. You cannot hide this completely. I think I can. Right. Okay. So I can actually show you, like let's say if you want different data points over here, right? So format data point, you can color things into different color points. You can also add data labels. Yes, data labels over here. But since there's so many data labels, it becomes a bit crowded. There are much more smarter ways of doing it, but I do not want to go into too much customization level things right now because that will basically be out of the scope of this exact video. But moving forward, what I want you to do is now that you have reached this point, I want you guys to try out all these different features over here, okay? Changing different axis lengths and widths and showing some data points, changing the colors, so on and so forth. And I hope you will be completely clear with this entire data set. Alright, I hope this video was helpful. This was a longer video because it explained a lot of different calculations, different ways to calculate, different plotting. And in the next assignment, you will finally get into what I've been saying as pivot tables and pivot charts, which will make things and life very, very easy. Okay, see you in that video. Bye bye.